Hi everybody, my name is Robert and today I'm going to show you a quick way to make gears. I know there are lots of good tutorials out on YouTube about doing this, but I thought I would show you a technique that I find pretty easy and works very well for making gears. And it involves using the Pathfinder tool. So what we'll do is we will start by actually using the star tool form the basis of our gear, and we'll use about 20 points. And let's take that star we created and expand it. And now what we want to do is remove the points of the star and form the top of the teeth. And we'll do this by drawing an ellipse over the top of the star. And what we want to do is get a width for the teeth that will end up being proportional between the top and the bottom of the teeth, so the gear will look right. And I think this width will work pretty well. So let's select both objects and align them. And now what we want to do is use our Pathfinder tool and use the intersect tool. And what this will do is it will actually preserve the both elements of both objects based on the top object, which was the sphere that we drew, or the ellipse. And so now we have the top of our teeth, and now the next step is to create the bottom of the teeth. So again, let's go back to our ellipse tool and draw an ellipse, and we want the ellipse to make the top and the bottom of the teeth about equal, and I think somewhere about there will work. Let's try that. So again, let's select both objects, do a quick align, and now what we want to do is use the unite tool, and this will take the two objects and basically combine them. And now what we have is a gear that has pretty uniform teeth in terms of the width of the top of the teeth and the width of the bottom. So the next thing we want to do is actually remove the inner portion of the gear. So again, select the ellipse tool, draw the ellipse over the gear, and let's make the rim of the gear about the same width as the teeth themselves. So that should work. Select both objects, and this time we want to use the minus front tool within Pathfinder, and what this will do is actually remove the ellipse we just drew. And so we have a pretty good looking gear, pretty uniform all around. Now we could just draw a circle in the middle for our hub and leave it at that, but let's do something a little bit different. Let's use our rectangle tool and draw a spoke, and let's make that spoke about the same width as our gear teeth. Select both objects, align, and now what we want to do is select our one spoke and use the rotate tool to actually make copies of that spoke and rotate it around the gear. So if we use 45 degrees, this will allow us to make 8 spokes around the gear. So let's use the copy function. And now if I use the Control D, I can create a set of uniform spokes for the gear. And again, if we do a Control A, and everything should already be aligned, come back Pathfinder tool and use the Unite, and now we have a very nice looking gear with spokes. We could just make a hole for the shaft, but that would look a little small. So let's go back to our ellipse tool. Let's draw a hub for the gear, make it about that size. select both objects in a line, and again we'll unite the two to make the hub. Now we can use our ellipse tool again, draw a hole or ellipse for the shaft hole, make sure everything is aligned, and now we want to remove the front ellipse from the gear in the back, so we'll do that. And the last thing we want to do is create a keyway shaft for the gear. So let's use the rectangle tool, and let's draw a little rectangle to make a notch in the hub, and select both. And this time we're only going to do a vertical alignment. And now we'll come back over and remove the rectangle from the gear, and we have a nice little keyway. And then one last thing we can do is, if you want to actually give your gear a little pizzazz, is you can use the extrude and bevel tool, and about 50 points looks nice. And if we do a preview, and there we have it. We have a very nice looking 3D gear with shading. So I hope you have fun trying this technique, and happy gear making.